हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू अनदर वीडियो ऑफ स्पार्क। आज के वीडियो में लोग फाइल फॉर्मेट के बारे में बात करेंगे। विल डिस्कस अबाउट द फाइल फॉर्मेट। तो फाइल फॉर्मेट के रिगार्डिंग बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस इंटरव्यू में आते हैं और मुझे लगता है किसी भी एक्सपीरियंस में आप बिग डाटा या डाटा इंजीनियरिंग के इंटरव्यू में जाते हैं तो फाइल फॉर्मेट पे क्वेश्चंस पूछी जाती है। सो फाइल फॉर्मेट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग। जैसे जैसे डाटा का साइज बढ़ रहा है और जैसे जैसे डाटा का साइज कुछ सालों में बढ़ता जा रहा है, तब से बिग डाटा आया और बिग डाटा के साथ साथ डिफरेंट डिफरेंट फाइल फॉर्मेट भी आ गया। देर आर मल्टीपल फाइल फॉर्मेट्स अवेलेबल इन द मार्केट इन द सिस्टम, जो आपके डिफरेंट डिफरेंट डाटा रिक्वायरमेंट, डिफरेंट डिफरेंट क्वेरीज रिक्वायरमेंट के हिसाब से बनी हुई है। स्पेसिफिकली किसी न किसी यूज केस के लिए बनी हुई है। सो विल डिस्कस अबाउट ऑल द फाइल सिस्टम विच वी जनरली यूज इन आवर यूज केसेस और इन आवर प्रोडक्शन इन्वायरमेंट। सो फाइल फॉर्मेट शुरू करने के पहले मैं डिस्कस करना चाहता हूँ कि देर आर टू बेसिक वेज हाउ वी डिस्ट्रीब्यूट और हाउ वी अरेंज द डाटा। जो फाइल फॉर्मेट जो दो तरीके होती है, जैसे आप फाइल किसी टेबल में आप लिखते हो ऑरेकल में या किसी भी डाटाबेस में, देयर आर टू वेज इन विच यू कैन अरेंज द डाटा एज पर द रिक्वायरमेंट। जैसे रो वाइज अरेंजमेंट होती है और एक कॉलमनर होता है कॉलम वाइज। तो पहले समझते हैं रो वाइज अरेंजमेंट क्या होता है और कॉलमनर, इस दोनों में डिफरेंस क्या है, क्योंकि इसी के बेसिस पे और भी डिफरेंट डिफरेंट फाइल सिस्टम बनी है और उसमें कुछ और फ्लेवर डाल के, कुछ और एडवांटेज डाल के उसको और भी इन्हेंस किया गया है। तो सबसे बेसिक है समझना व्हाट इज रो फॉर्मेट फाइल अरेंजमेंट एंड व्हाट इज कॉलम फॉर्मेट फाइल अरेंजमेंट। सो दिस इज अ टेबल, दिस इज एग्जांपल के लिए मैं ये टेबल ले रहा हूँ जिसमें 3 कॉलम है, आईडी, नेम एंड एड्रेस, एंड वी हैव 3 रिकॉर्ड्स इन दिस टेबल। सो अगर आपने ओरेकल में काम किया है, माई सिक्वल सर्वर पे, तो आप किसी भी तरह का फाइल फॉर्मेट डिफाइन नहीं करते हो जब आप भी डाटा इंसर्ट कर रहे हो, डाटा क्वेरी कर रहे हो। तो मोस्टली वाइल क्रिएटिंग द टेबल आप डिफाइन नहीं करते हो। इन दैट केस वी हैव अ रो वाइज डाटा डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन। जैसे टेबल के स्ट्रक्चर में इस तरह से तो डाटा आप लिखते हो, लेकिन इंटरनली डिस्क में जो डाटा जो भी डिस्ट्रीब्यूट रहेगी या अरेंज रहेगी वो इस तरीके से रहेगी। सो योर फर्स्ट रिकॉर्ड इज 1 संतोष दिल्ली, so it will be like this. Then you will have the next record just like next record will be just next to the previous record जो मेमोरी एलोकेशन है। तो नेक्स्ट रिकॉर्ड का मेमोरी एलोकेशन प्रीवियस रिकॉर्ड के मेमोरी एलोकेशन के बगल में रहता है। देन वी हैव अ थर्ड रिकॉर्ड। तो इस तरीके से अरेंजमेंट होती है। दिस कैन बी इन ए सिंगल डिस्क, और फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू हैव मल्टीपल रोज, देन फ्यू रोज कैन बी इन डिस्क वन, फ्यू रोज कैन बी इन डिस्क टू। सो अभी एज्यूम करके चलते हैं कि दिस ऑल आर इन द डिस्क वन। ठीक है, आप समझते हैं कि कॉलमनर बेसिस क्या है। कॉलम, अगर मैं इसी डाटा को मैं अगर कॉलमनर फॉर्मेटिंग, किसी भी कॉलमनर, जैसे पार्के इज वन ऑफ द वेज जिसमें आप कॉलमनर वे से फाइल को रख सकते हो, अरेंज कर सकते हो। सो इफ यू आर गोइंग टू स्टोर ए डाटा इन ए कॉलमनर फैशन, सो इन दैट केस इंटरनली डिस्क में कैसे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होगी, इस तरीके से होगी। इंटरनली डिस्क में यू विल हैव 1 2 3, this is ID number, this will be clubbed together. Like the memory of the 2 will be just next to the memory of the 1, memory of the 3 will be next to the memory of the 2. Similarly, name के केस में संतोष, सौरभ, राहुल, so memory of the Saurav will be next to the memory of the Santosh. Similarly, in the case of address, we'll have memory of Delhi next to the case of Bangalore. So यहाँ पे एक कॉलम क्लब हो रहा है और यहाँ पे क्लब हो रहा है एक रो। सो देयर इज अ डिफरेंस। अब यहाँ पे आप देख रहे हो कि व्हेन आई हैव टू राइट, फॉर एग्जांपल देयर आर मल्टीपल डाटाज, सो इफ आई हैव टू राइट ए न्यू रिकॉर्ड, अगर टेबल यूज किया जा रहा है रो फॉर्मेट में एंड आई एम गोइंग टू इंसर्ट द डाटा इनटू द टेबल, so in that case it's very easy to insert the data. You can directly write the data next in the next memory allocation. आपको कुछ सर्च नहीं करना पड़ रहा है, सिस्टम को कुछ सर्च नहीं करना पड़ रहा है, वो डायरेक्टली आप इस नेक्स्ट मेमोरी एलोकेशन में लिख सकते हैं। अगर आप इंसर्ट की बात करोगे, लाइक जैसे हम लोगों ने बात किया रो फॉर्मेट में, अगर कॉलमनर डाटा स्टोरेज में इंसर्ट की बात करोगे, इन दैट केस फॉर एग्जांपल इफ आई एम राइटिंग ए न्यू फॉर्मेट ए एंड संदीप and Delhi. Okay, so this new row, if I am going to store in a columnar format, in that case, number 4 will go next to the number 3. Number 4 will come here. Number, this Sandeep name will come here, and Delhi will be club here. Sorry. So that means before inserting this cell, Sandeep cell, the data, the system has to check what is the memory number or memory ID of the Rahul. Similarly, while inserting Delhi, the system has to check what is the memory of the previous record, like previous Delhi cell. But in the row wise, while inserting, you just need to check what is the last memory ID of the record, and then you have to insert the full record. But in columnar fashion, if you are going to insert, so for each cell you should know the previous memory allocation. So while inserting, in the process of inserting, row format is very easy, very good performance when we are trying to insert the record in a row format. But when we are trying to insert a record in a column format, it is very difficult. It's not difficult. There will be more memory utilization, and it's not very much optimized. So this is one of the big difference. Now assume that all the records are in different disks. So it's very difficult in the columnar format because Rahul can be in a different disk, Delhi can be in another disk. So it will create a bigger problem. It will just impact the performance of the system. So when the columnar format of the files are used where you want to write once and read many times. The same thing happens in the Parquet format. Reading is easy. Now I'll take an example of reading. When you are trying to read the same data in the row format, if I'm just writing query select name from table where id is 1, so id is 1 and name is Santosh. So in this case it becomes easy because memory allocation is just near to it. But if I want to do the group by, if I want to do some of the data shuffling, in that case it becomes very difficult. In a columnar format, for example, I want select all the addresses from this table, so it will just go to this memory allocation. It will take all the records from here. But if in the row format, if I want to do the same query, like select all the address from the table, so it have to go to each memory allocation, and this becomes a performance hit. So writing is easy in row format. Writing is tough in columnar format. Reading is easy in columnar format, and reading is bit tough in a row format. So this is the basic difference of the, and this is the fundamental on which the file format is based. Now we'll know like what are different file format, and then when you have understood this concept, then you can apply your file format in which of the use cases. Like in interview, generally the question is asked like, in this is a particular use case, or you tell me the use case where the particular file format can be used. So this concept can be used in that answer. Like you can put like Parquet can be used when you want to read the data and write the data very less, and there you can explain that how the columnar format is being used. Now, one more thing I want to add: when you want to compress the columnar format, if I want to compress like what you call address, so it's very easy because same data type will be stored in one of the memory allocation. But in row format, the data type gets changes. If you want to compress the full row, all this row, the data types are being changed, and it's really difficult. So in columnar format, you can use multiple compression technique. It's very easy to compress, but in row format it's not very easy to compress. So basically in normal condition we use these kind of these all file format. So there are row and column file format, as I have discussed earlier. So in the row we have JSON, CSV and Avro file format options. So you would have used CSV and JSON in most of the cases. There was XML also. Earlier we used XML, but now people are generally using JSON, in which you have multiple tags. You can read the JSON file at once. If you want to put something in a document wise, then JSON is very much suitable in that case. So for example, you want to just store the full detail of a particular employee or your customer in some database, for example Mongo database. In that case, JSON is the option. JSON is the only option in the MongoDB, and JSON is too much suitable for adding the things in in the document format. So we have JSON, CSV, and Avro in the row format. In column format, we have ORC and Parquet. So JSON was a very good format, but Avro has an added advantage. Like Avro comes, Avro is first of all row format, so you can write the data in very easy way and in less CPU intensive way. Avro has an advantage that data is stored in a binary format. So binary format data always have a upper hand compared to the raw data, like how it is in JSON and CSV also. So in Avro, we have a data in binary format, and in the same file, we have the schema of the data in a JSON format. So schema, you can if when you open a Avro file, you can directly read the schema. You'll be able to understand that what is the structure of the file, what is the structure of the data, but you will not able to understand the data because data will be in the binary format. Now the advantage is whenever you want to change the schema, you can easily change the schema because schema is written in a JSON format. So in a next Avro, if there is a data in a different like for example multiple more columns are there in a data, so that can easily be changed because schema is in a form of a JSON. So Avro is very good when you want to include dynamic schema changes in your data. So in that case Avro is very good. In JSON is okay, it's very good in that in if you have a less amount of data and you want to put it in a document wise. CSV is obviously for the less amount of data or just for a small kind of data. Avro, it can work for a large amount of data as data is in a binary format, and it supports dynamic schema changes as the schema is written in a JSON format. Now coming to the columnar format, these two are very popular, ORC and Parquet. So ORC was generally developed for the Hive. Like for the Hive, the reading purpose should be fast. You can apply the acid property in the Hive table. Generally in HDF, you cannot apply the acid property, but Hive, but ORC gives you that advantage of applying acid properties, database acid properties into the Hive technology. So ORC was generally used for the Hive. Now also when people are using Hive format, so it's very useful. First is for the acid property and second is for heavy read and write both. So it supports multiple things. And obviously it is a columnar storage, so all the advantage of the columnar storage will come here. Similarly, in the Parquet, so Parquet is very much optimized. It's a columnar storage. It's used in almost everything. Like when you store something in a Spark. In that case, you use Parquet format. Mostly in most of the use case, people are using Parquet format. It supports large and heavy amount of data, and it will be able to support. It will it easily supports large and heavy amount of data, and this is used in most of the cases. So Parquet is generally used where you have too much of complex data, too much of nested data, for example stream data or the log event data. In that case Parquet is very useful because Parquet is optimized in such a way that you can write long running analytical or very complex analytical queries on a file. So if your requirement is of analytical query, complex query, in that case you can use Parquet format, and Parquet format will be good in where if you write the queries on the top of it. It has also, like in all the file format, Parquet is having the best compression ratio. If you compress anything in a Parquet, it will compress in a very good way. Apart from being a columnar storage, it also stored the data in a group. So it creates a group of data in a group. It puts the same data. For example, name data will be in one group. So compression is very much good because in general in a columnar storage compression is very good, but in Parquet it's better than the ORC. So ORC and Parquet both are the columnar storage, but ORC is mainly for the Hive purpose. If we talk about the ORC and Parquet comparison in the same, because both are the columnar storage, so both will have very good reading of data, but writing of data will be will not be optimized. But compared to Parquet, ORC, you can write the data in much faster. In Parquet is meant for writing once and reading multiple times with heavy query, running analytical queries, complex queries. So if there is a interview question in which you have to choose ORC and Parquet, keep in mind, if you are going to read the data, if you are going to write the data multiple times, then use ORC. If you are trying to run the heavy queries, complex queries, go for Parquet. If you have a data of very big amount, very large amount, and you want to store it, then in that case go for columnar. If you have a ML kind of data, machine learning kind of data, in which you have to run multiple queries to get the data from different segment, in that case always use row format. So these are the pointers which you can keep in mind, and it will helpful in deciding when you are storing the data in the Hive or in Spark anywhere. And it will also help you to answer the interview question with proper reasoning, because interviewer is looking not only for the answer, they are also looking for the proper reasoning. So these are the basic reasoning of the file format. I think this will be sufficient for any of the experienced D or anyone who is very new to D.